Here is the official starting roster for Fanshawe College. Number 3, playing 4.
And we'll check out the starting lineups for the Fanshawe Falcons right now.
Playing guard, Exton Fremantle. Number 13, playing point guard, Ernest Paulette. Number 14, playing 4, Ola Ojo. And number 20, playing
And Fanshawe has more of a younger team than Mohawk, who has a lot of third and fourth years and second years on their team, whereas most of Fanshawe are first and second years, Kyler.
That's right, a lot of experience on this Mountaineers team, including several players that were a part of the national championship team from 2 years ago, still on this roster currently.
That's right, and there are a lot of youngsters on the Mohawk team that have really been making noise. And you look at these two teams, and it's like veteran C versus you know, a younger team.
And there is Matt Fennell, the leading scorer for the Mountaineers, also the second leading scorer in the OCAA at 25.8 points per game.
That's right, we talked about how Fanshawe was able to shut him down in their last meeting. Taylor Dalhanick was a little late to the handshake with head coach Tony Martulio.
And Matt Fennell, you said he was a rough outing last time against Fanshawe. He's been on fire lately, coming off a 38-point performance in the Mountaineers' last game. Matt Fennell had 38 points in their last victory, going 6 of 10 from three-point range.
At 25 points per game is no joke, Kyler. That is an offensive powerhouse.
And he's been very efficient leading the team in scoring as well, shooting 53% from the floor and 43% from three-point range.
Yeah, it's kind of a Swiss Army knife of offensive ability.
We're set to tip off here. Ball controlled by the Fanshawe Falcons. And the ball is batted away. You see that tough zone defense of the Mountaineers induces a travel on the Falcons.
That's right, we see Pat Ivaroni in the starting lineup for the Mountaineers. He's a very, very fast break player, great at making plays, and really mixes things up, and we see his speed right here.
You see Ivaroni get picked off by Fremantle. The Falcons head the other way with it. You see that zone defense has really been the key to the Mountaineers' success this season. They've got a lot of size down low and a lot of speed up top. It's really hard to penetrate that zone, and even if they do, you've got to meet Taylor Dalhanick.
And Taylor Dalhanick is a presence. He's smart, he's quick, and he is the backbone of that zone defense.
And Dalhanick is the OCAA West Defensive Player of the Year last year, and likely to repeat again this year, as he has an overwhelming lead in blocks in the entire conference. And we see Cicatini battling down low, Ball's tipped out of bounds. Will stay with the Mountaineers.
And Andrew Cicatini, you know, he really just sets up shop down low under the net there.
Cicatini is one of the toughest players the Mountaineers have. He's leading his team in rebounds, and you can see why on that last possession. Alex Reese misfires on the baseline jumper. The Falcons head the other way. A nice pass to the point guard. Unable to convert.
Smart play by Taylor Dalhanick there.
And Dalhanick, even if he doesn't block a shot, he affects and alters so many shots. And he makes it a lot tougher for the other team to score. Still scoreless in this game early on. Ivaroni hits the back rim on that three-point attempt. Falcons headed the other way, right into the middle of two Mountaineers, and Dalhanick picks up his first block of the game.
And you see how effective he is in there.
There's the speedy Ivaroni breaking the scoring drought.
Yeah, Pat Ivaroni draws first blood in this matchup.
And as this season has progressed, Ivaroni has really worked his way into the starting lineup.
We saw him at the beginning of the season. He was one of those players that, you know, he hits the court, you can't help but notice him right away.
He was always their sixth man early on in the season, coming in and giving them instant energy, and he's played his way right into the starting lineup as the Falcons scored and tie the game at 2.
And, you know, Brian Jonker has a really deep bench there, so it's a lot to say when Pat Ivaroni, you know, you look at everyone that's on the floor right now, he's the smallest guy, but he is undoubtedly the quickest.
And Coach Brian Jonker, a the Mountaineers, really loves the way that Ivoroni can handle the pressure, bringing the ball up the court. There's constant full court presses in this league, and Ivoroni's been able to handle the pressure. Nice pass by Ivoroni, finds Alex Reese wide open down low for two.
And Reese starts things off. We talk about the big man with a soft touch. Moves like a leaf in the wind, Kyler.
He's very light on his toes for his size, Greg. Here's Dalhanic with the rebound, gets it to Ivoroni immediately. There's Alex Reese wide open, fakes the shot, gets it inside to Cicatini. Dalhanic was there too. And you see why Dalhanic and Cicatini are a good combo down low.
Well, they're great. They really complement each other. You know, Dalhanic's got that crazy reach, so he's able to assist Cicatini down low.
And we can see what makes Cicatini such a tough player is he gets hacked multiple times, but still gets a good shot off on that possession. I'm not sure why he's not shooting free throws right now, but
yeah.
Mountaineers will have the ball sideline. Ivoroni looks at the shot, sees Cicatini open. Cicatini, nice
and
finger roll.
Just fires a pass right into the hands of Andrew Cicatini.
And Cicatini picking up a touch foul there. Not a smart play.
And we see it right there. Kyler said, you know, not a smart play, taking a touch foul there, given the position your team is in early on with that 3-point lead.
And Dexter Fremantle head to the line, connects on both.
Good job, Alvin.
Ivoroni working the ball up court, finds Alex Reese. Cicatini outside now. Mountaineers setting up their offense. Ivoroni gets bumped, but doesn't matter. Gets a pass down to Alex Reese.
We talked about that soft touch.
Use his body to get the defender out of the way, then goes up with a nice soft touch.
You know, and that in itself is a unique asset that the Mountaineers have. You know, you see this big guy coming in, you think he's going to run you over, but he uses his body in just the right way to get in there and then floats one right in the net.
And then Dexton Fremantle just dribbles the ball off his leg there and loses it out of bounds.
We're seeing the pressure mounting quickly on the Fanshawe Falcons, pardon me.
Here's Matt Fennell getting into the game, and he's feeling good early on. Hits the long distance three.
And Fennell's been pretty quiet so far.
Dalhanic with another block, and then tips the ball out to Matt Fennell. Here's Patrick Ivoroni looking to find a teammate, finds Cicatini, back to Ivoroni, who's open for three. He fires.
And
Mountaineers off to a quick start, 14-4 lead.
We haven't even seen any substitutions yet, and as I say that,
Ivoroni steals the ball. He's got Matt Fennell on the wing. Too close together now. Fennell back to Ivoroni. Ivoroni's open, off the mark. And a steal by Ivoroni. Falcons just not paying attention there, and Ivoroni always paying attention.
That's right, that is one of his hallmarks, is that basketball intellect.
And Falcons head coach Tony Marcatulio is not pleased right now. And here is Patrick Ivoroni leading the break and scoring the first points of the game.
And then we see Pat Ivoroni here again from a different angle. And there's that pass that he just fired right into the hands of Cicatini.
Ivoroni's just got his handprints all over this game early on. Steals, assists, buckets.
We talked about Alex Reese right there. Great angle. You see him just floating that one in over the defense.
And it's been all Mountaineers early on as they have a 16-4 lead.
That's a huge lead. I mean, you are at home, and they did lose to Fanshawe in their last meeting, and you can tell that Brian Jonker has really changed their recipe for going up against the Falcons.
Not looking like the same team at all that lost to the Falcons earlier on this season.
And I'm sure the Falcons are saying to themselves the exact same thing.
Could be a little bit of home cooking too for the Mountaineers, as they have not lost a game here at the David Braley Center all year long, all season long.
That's right, Kyler, you get a brand new facility to play in, coming off a national title. That's great for morale for a team.
And Jeff Hunt, who just checked into the game, picks up a foul right away. This is Chisholm home with the ball right now, looking for a teammate. That zone defense really stifling the offense of the Falcons, not really getting into anything. Jeff Hunt just bats the ball away.
Good play by Jeff Hunt, really simple, just getting in that passing lane. And we can see Pat Ivoroni is becoming the quarterback of this Mountaineers offense.
Andrew Sicatini fires it to Ivoroni, who's open for three again, gets hit on the shot, but no call. Rebounded by Sicatini. Rebounded by Fennell now, up, no good. Fight for the ball, out of bounds, knocked off the Falcons.
And you know what? The Mountaineers offense, they acclimate very quickly. They saw the Fanshawe defense collapsing into the zone, and they started moving the ball on the outside right away, and they take a point shot.
And number 4, Xenis Brereton checking into the game for Matt Fennell. And we've got a foul on the Falcons, number 1, Chisholm. Mountaineers will try to inbound again. Ivoroni's open, but so is Sicatini. Sicatini's fighting down low. Chance for an and one play.
And Sicatini does not miss from the inside there. He's able to just take his time with that, get control.
And that is his office down low there. He just really goes to work on the low block.
He's going to get the and one right here. Let's see if he makes it. And there's that lead extended.
And right into the full court pressure. Makes the free throw and then pressures the inbounder.
That's right, and we want to see this full court press really pushes those half court violations.
And a lot of size, a lot of length on the court right now for the Mountaineers as Jeff Hunt gets in the face of the shooter. Dowhannick bats away the rebound, and we have Ivoroni and X on the breakaway. Ivoroni pulls it back, gets it to Dowhannick. Jeff Hunt tries to find Andrew Sicatini. Andrew Sicatini working now. Cross-court pass. And he didn't even look where he was going. He knew that Ivoroni was in the corner, and he passed the ball to that spot. We have a block by the Falcons.
That's the chemistry that's been built since Ivoroni's been part of their prime squad.
Sicatini wasn't even looking where he was about to pass that ball. And then he passed it to the corner, and Ivoroni was already there. And
that's the execution that has made the Mountaineers so effective.
And this Mountaineers team has really had a solid season. They're 14-3, as we've talked about, but they're also ranked number 8 in college basketball in all of Canada.
It's a really impressive feat, and you know, this program has come a long way here at Mohawk, especially with the national titles, brought a lot of legitimacy and a lot of great players to the city and to the college.
And Coach Brian Jonker and this Mountaineers team are looking forward to competing for another national title this year and going forward. That is the ultimate goal for them.
And Coach Jonker believes that the team really does have the ingredients needed in order to brew that championship recipe.
Well, they've got the experience right now. They've certainly got the talent. They've got the size. And they've got Matt Fennell, too, the second leading scorer in the OCAA at 26 points per game.
Yeah, it's interesting to see such an effective defense with such a prominent scorer at the mast of it all as well.
See first-year player Stephen Deli earning a trip to the free throw line. Stephen Deli, one of the young players, first-year player, that's really worked his way into this rotation. Wasn't seeing a lot of minutes early on in the season, but he's been averaging about 15 minutes per game over the last number of games.
And one of the advantages to playing on a winning team is that, you know, you get those youngsters out, get them with some real practical experience to start moving forward and building that team. And then you get rising stars like Delhi coming up, who really just take that responsibility and move forward with it. You see it with Pat Ivoroni stepping up, and now we see it with Delhi.
We've seen the starters really establish a lot of leads early on in games, and that's been able to allow Coach Jonker to get some of his younger players into the game. Andrew Cicatini over to Delhi. Delhi over to Matt Fennell. Matt Fennell with a nice spin move, pulls up, fires.
And Matt Fennell knew he was going to shoot that as soon as the ball was in his hands.
He hits the two-point shot.
There was no delay.
His foot on the line.
And Fanshawe has yet to score a basket after the first two initial points.
Everything coming from the free throw line for the Falcons, not able to connect from the field. And on the final day of the regular season here, the Mountaineers are really putting it on the Falcons early on.
Here we have Ojo at the point. And Alex Reese hits the court for Jeff Hunt. And Brian Jonker really likes to work in a solid rotation with the Mountaineers.
Delhi facing some of the pressure now, and it becomes a 3-on-2, but Reese gets it over to Fennell. Fennell's been feeling good so far today. Misfires from the corner.
Talked about how they rendered Matt Fennell inert in the last meeting, and part of the reason why Fanshawe was able to win that meeting. And Ojo again chipping in, trying to get something going for the Falcons, and double team on Delhi again. This time proves effective.
And X comes up with a steal there, strips the ball.
So you see how effective that zone defense is when it needs to collapse.
Alex Reese working against the pressure. Dennis Brereton committing the turnover.
It's a tough pass to make when you're getting double teamed, and you're seeing Fanshawe really employing that a lot. They're not afraid to double up and take a risk, especially given how far down they are.
Oh, you don't? It's a 21-8 lead for the Mountaineers.
And Dennis Brereton almost with another steal.
Xenis committing that last turnover, also making up for it with a number of steals. Here's Delhi now. Cicatini out of his range a little bit, but hits back rim.
Taking advantage of that shot clock every second that's there with a minute left in the first quarter.
Ojo knocks the ball off of his foot. And the Mountaineers come up with the ball.
And Fanshawe trying to employ a full court press, but too much penetration from the Mountaineers. You can see Ojo right here just kicking the ball out as he moves in.
Andrew Cicatini saying, that's our ball. It's a good looking three-point shot from number 20, Alex Thompson. This full court pressure is starting to get to the Mountaineers a little bit. Alex Reese finds Xenis.
Slow their scoring pace.
Xenis hits a three on that play. Well, he committed the turnover on the previous possession, but he comes right back with the three. Xenis taketh and Xenis giveth.
That's very poetic, Kyler.
Thank you. And the Mountaineers come right up with the ball again on the other end. Full court pass by Alex Reese. He throws a touchdown at Andrew Cicatini.
And you talked about those hands on Alex Reese and the accuracy of his passes.
Final 13 seconds of the quarter now. As The Mountaineers have established a 26-10 lead, and they come up with another steal, looking to add to their lead. Matt Fennell with a nice pass back to Deli, unselfishly gets it to Cicatini.
And Deli starting that play, just pouring on the pressure. And you can see how quickly that ball gets moved, even down low. And they are taking every single.
Let's take a look at some of that stellar passing by the Mountaineers.
Deli
as
making
Deli
that
gets
steal.
it to Fennell. And Fennell, I think he told Deli, just go up with that ball.
Yeah.
Deli a little unselfishly gets it over to Cicatini.
Yeah.
And as the first quarter comes to a close, it's Mountaineers 28, Falcons 10.
And you know, you can't be mad for wanting someone else on your team to want to take that basket, especially when it's one of your youngsters. And we see this massive 18-point lead that has accumulated over the Fanshawe Falcons.
That's right, Greg, and this Mountaineers team is really closing out the season strong. They're on a 6-game win streak right now, looking up to get their 7th win in a row to end the season and head into the playoffs with a lot of momentum.
And the Mountaineers are very serious about making another run at a national championship this year. And you can really see it in their play tonight. Last game of the season and that steal by Deli after he put that pressure on and those quick passes down low, and you can see Fanshawe just has no idea what's going on.
And the Mountaineers have really been unstoppable here at home at the David Braley Center all season long. They're 8-0, looking to go 9-0, and everyone's had a tough time coming in here to play them.
That's right. You know, it's a new building. We get a pretty packed house here. Lots of support from the students' family, and of course, there's everyone working out in the gym right now over by the treadmills who are looking down and watching the game as well. So we can see some support for, I'm not sure if that's for Fanshawe or for Mohawk.
No, they gotta be Mohawk.
I think
fans.
it's Mohawk, yeah, I see the sweater there.
The fans out, they want to see their Mountaineers pick up a win on the final day of the regular season.
And great teams finish strong, Kyler.
Come on, Mohawk, make some noise for your Mountaineers.
The Mountaineers send most of their starters out to start the second quarter. Falcons coach Tony Marcatulio working the referees early on.
That's right, calls haven't exactly been going their way. Fairly steady first quarter, and we'll see how Fanshawe comes out against this Mountaineers offense.
And Ivoroni kicks us off here in the second quarter. He's having a tough go of it here against the pressure.
And we talked about Ivoroni and how he acclimates to pressure, and you see it right there. He just does not care.
Fennell pulls up. He's feeling nice tonight with another open jumper made. See Thompson working against the zone defense, cuts inside with a nice pass. The Falcons able to score off a nice assist from Thompson.
And Ojo is scoring most of the points here for Fanshawe, really getting in on the play, and he lives down low too, just like Cicatini.
See a battle for the ball on the ground. Nice behind the back dribble, no look pass from X, too hot to handle from Dowhanick. Dennis was moving and grooving on that play. And we have a turnover traveling on the Falcons.
We have Dexton Fremantle heading back in for Fanshawe. We can see the play here. Ojo making something happen, and we see it from the other angle here below the basket.
And Ojo uses the side of the rim as an extra defender to shield the long arms of Dowhanick. Here's Xenis looking for a teammate, finds Matt Fennell. Matt Fennell passes to Dowhanick, gets it back, finds Alex Reese down low. Alex Reese is blocked, but gets his own rebound and puts it back. How does he do that, Greg? How does he do that?
Well, I actually think that was knocked in by Ojo, and it was, you know, we talk about a little bit of luck, a lot of execution.
It's always better to be lucky than good. see the Falcons struggling to get into the offense early on.
Talk
The
about
shot
that
clock
zone.
is winding down.
That zone defense just collapsing in.
You see Ojo just firing a shot at the rim. No good. Ivoroni with a twisting layup to the basket is good.
Ivoroni had some trouble setting up and just decided to drive.
He got a little bit of airtime on that move too. See Ojo going down low, almost blocked by Dalhanic, but there's a foul. And we see Alex Reese down low,
now we
battling
can see
against
if Ojo does knock the ball into his own net, and you can see he's very upset right there. And the persistence of Alex Reese paying off. And Fanshawe looking very different than they did in their previous meeting against the Mountaineers, where they were able to shut down Matt Fennell, who has already scored more points here in this first half than he did in their entire last meeting.
Free throw is good.
And one thing about Fanshawe is they have a great bench too in Siobhan Miller-Bennett and Chris Stanhope, who both scored 17 points coming off the bench in that last meeting with the Mountaineers.
Here's Ivoroni handling the pressure, gets it to Jeff Hunt, gets it ahead to Matt Fennell. He's hitting another shot, and Fennell is starting to percolate now. Mountaineers maintaining a solid lead. Stifling defense right now. The ball's picked off by Cicatini, looking for an outlet pass. No one's there. Always looking to push the tempo. And here's Ivoroni.
Jeff Hunt was waiting for that pass in the corner.
And a complete miscommunication on that possession between Hunt and Cicatini. But
And you could tell that when Jeff Hunt swung out, there was a little confusion. You could tell that that was a setup for a play there.
ball tipped out past half court, able to be kept alive, but the Mountaineers come up with the steal, and Ivoroni goes one-on-one now. Drives to the basket, no good, rebounded by the Falcons.
Great rebound by Brian McDonald there.
Here's Fremantle, mishandling. No, play's getting really ragged now. They need to lock it up. Top of the key, three-pointer, no good, rebounded by the Falcons. Some sloppy play going on, open shot though. And that is Miller-Bennett with the outside look.
And you can see they started to sort of dismantle that zone defense by moving the ball very effectively.
And Dalhanic looking for Cicatini down low. Pass was a little low, knocked out of bounds.
Yeah, Brian McDonald breaks up another play. Coming off the bench, playing hard.
And Cicatini had his man sealed there. If Dalhanic just lifts that pass up a little bit, that could be an open dunk for Cicatini. Jeff Hunt now with the ball. And Ivoroni picks up the steal. And that's a foul of aggression there. You can't really fault the player for playing extra aggressive.
That's right, and you know what? Like, the Mountaineers are a very aggressive team, offensively and defensively, whether it's the press or them coming in down low, and we can see another one here on Ivoroni, and I think
back-to-back fouls will earn him a trip to the bench.
Yeah, we see Deli coming in for him. He's not happy with himself.
But Deli comes in, and he'll handle the ball now for the Mountaineers. Guarding at the top of the zone. Matt Fennell playing the ball now. Nowhere to go for the Falcons. And a huge block by Dalhanic. Get that out of here.
See that Dalhanic just takes his time to read these plays, and he knows exactly when the ball's going to come up.
Well, Dalhanic is the reigning Defensive Player of the Year in the OCAA West Division. And we see that block right there. Get that out of there, little man. Here's Jeff Hunt on the other end, scoring.
We see Mohawk now moving the ball down the court with ease and just getting it in there, and Fanshawe still trying to find their game, and the clock is winding down.
Off the mark, rebounded by Delhi. Cicchettini makes contact with his defender, but no call.
Matt Fennell almost intercepted that pass there behind the back.
Fennell wide open now, expect to see a dunk here, and he just lays it in instead.
And we have a timeout coming to Fanshawe. And I mean, you look at this scoreboard right now, the Mountaineers are firing on absolute all cylinders right now, Kyler.
And this crowd is stunned, Greg. They're just in silence.
You can see Alex Reese right there, not giving up on the play, and even gets Ojo to put it in for him.
And even though the Mountaineers with the big lead here, the crowd is actually rather silent. They're surprised that they're seeing such a beating by their hometown Mountaineers.
And with 5 minutes left in this half of play, Fanshawe will try to generate some offense and close the deficit.
And it's been a solid defensive effort for the Mountaineers so far, allowing only 16 points. And that ball rattles around the rim and in.
We see Brian McDonald there again, being a presence on the court for Fanshawe.
Let's see how Delhi handles the full court press of the Falcons. He throws a wild pass down court that almost finds its way into Cicchettini's hands, but ultimately it's a turnover.
Well, you have to take chances like that when you're a younger guy and, you know, really get a feel for those long passes. And they are taking advantage of Delhi every time, doubling up on him in the corner. That's the third time that's happened.
You always got to take chances when you're young, Greg.
It's good advice, Kyler.
Here's Delhi setting up the offense. Gets it to Jeff Hunt. Hunt looking for somebody. Here's Matt Fennell driving to the basket, and that's up and good. Matt Fennell, he's on fire to start this game. He's only missed one shot.
And with only 5 seconds left on the shot clock, really running it down, moving that ball. Great pass inside. And McDonald almost gets another one.
And Cicchettini, the OCAA league leader in rebounds, comes away with another one. Matt Fennell wide open for three. Off the mark.
I think that one will be off Dalhanic there. Fanshawe will get possession. We see Xenis Brereton and Alex Reese heading in for Mohawk. And Ian Asing, who's another youngster. A first year that is learning the ropes here with the Mountaineers.
See Xenis Brereton and Asing at the top of the zone defense now. Dalhanic and Cicchettini anchoring it down low. Open corner jumper is off the mark. Asing comes up with the board. Nearly stolen, but Reese comes up with it. Off the mark, Cicchettini battling for the board, no good. Here's 23 with the loose handle here, right to the basket, goes coast to coast.
Great drive by Chris Stanhope there.
Xenis Brereton now going to work. Getting to Asing. Acing finds Cicantini.
And the home crowd likes that one.
I think big block by Dowhanek. I think even though the home crowd likes to see their team up right now, they would perhaps like to see a little more competition between the two squads. All the competition's been one-sided in favor of the Mountaineers so far. Just like that block by Taylor Dowhanek. The full court press.
And
be
Acing's
applied by
gonna
the
take
Falcons.
this one.
And Delhi handling the pressure.
You can see them doubling up on Delhi every time.
And that's got to be a bit of a concern for Brian Jonker going into the playoffs. He needs a second ball handler other than Patrick Ivoroni, who can bring the ball up and handle the defensive pressure. He needs to know who he can trust in those situations.
And who he can just put on the court cold and know that, you know, they'll be okay.
We've seen a couple of turnovers so far by Delhi on the last couple of possessions when the Falcons have applied the full court pressure.
That's right, the Falcons are starting to recognize that weakness too, and every time the ball's in his hand, they're gonna double up on him to get any advantage they can.
Get out front. Hey, I know we're young at the back spots right now, but that doesn't matter. You can handle the pressure. All right? Ian's got the ball out of bounds. Okay? Steve, X, you're better if you're here plastic because you're just guarding that, right?
Ocho right there.
Ian goes here. Ian, watch X.
See Dowhanek,
Dowhanek.
constant presence down low.
Right away. But if it goes to Steve, get ready to inbound and bounce back to Ian and go. Okay? Go. Hey, who's Steve? Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
See the defensive prowess of Dowhanek again and again.
The Mountaineers have been able to amass a 44-22 lead.
And we can see
The
Mohawk
fans are
supporting.
happy with this lead that the Mountaineers have built up. The girls just look like they're happy to get some camera time.
Yeah, on the big screen.
And Stanhope tries to throw it down after the whistle, but gets rejected by the rim, and that's probably karma for trying to dunk after the whistle.
Yeah, it's a little too much if you ask me, Kyler.
Hey, Elvin, can you hear me?
Right now,
2
the
minutes.
Mountaineers are doubling up the Falcons, but Delhi is still having difficulty handling the pressure. And now the ball is in the front court finally for the Mountaineers. Dowhanek has it underneath the basket. That's always a good scenario if you're the Mountaineers. If you're Taylor Dowhanek at 6'9".
And you know that Jonker is going to keep Delhi on the court with this huge lead because he wants him to learn how to handle that double team.
That's a good point, Greg. This is the time for him to learn how to handle that pressure in a game that does have some impact right now. The Mohawk Mountaineers are trying to win this game, but they do have a huge lead right now.
And you know that in that timeout, I'm sure Brian Jonker gave him some words of wisdom.
And rebound off the mark.
How to deal with that kind of coverage.
Play like a highlight package of highlights in the first half, and then just have them say they'll stick around for the first half. So the first half score, and then fade to black, and then after it fades to black, all go over.
It's Chiselome taking the ball inbounds right into Dowhanek's hands. And that will help his cause for...
And Alex Reese had a slight travel as he came up to take that
shuffled
shot.
his feet a little bit. Dowhanek working down low with another block. Here's Acing now, trying to get it to X, and he commits the turnover.
Acing couldn't get quite enough air on that
Dowhanek
pass.
gets caught up in the air, and finally someone is able to get past Dowhanek, and that is Eric Hamilton. Dowhanek finds X wide open, holds onto the ball though. Behind the back dribble by Xenis, and Xenis gets his layup blocked.
Looks like the Mountaineers are going to maintain possession here. And Alex Reese is going to take this one.
Under a minute to go in the half here, and a huge dunk by Xenis Brereton off the inbounds play. I saw something like that during NBA All-Star Weekend, Greg.
I think that's where he got the inspiration for that.
That looked like an inbound pass from Kyrie Irving to Paul George.
And that was a great play by both Alex Reese and Dennis Brereton.
And Dow Hannock comes up with another steal here, and the Mountaineers are off to the races. Dennis Brereton shoots the three, off the mark.
And when you get scored on like that going into the half with this kind of deficit, that is demoralizing.
That's really a momentum builder for the Mountaineers, who are already doubling up the Falcons. 22 seconds to go in the game, 22 seconds to go in the clock, in the half, sorry. And that's really an inexperienced shot by Acing. Coach Jonker now telling his team to take one shot. Daly working the ball around, trying to go off the pick from Dow Hannock. Reese will have to fire it here from the corner, off the mark. And you know, if that shot would have went in, it would have been really deflating for the Falcons.
Huge. I mean, already they're in that position heading into the half. They are in a 24-point deficit getting doubled up on.
And it's how hard is it to come back from a 24-point deficit
well, there's still
when you've only scored 24?
Well, you know, there's still a whole nother half to play, and we know that Fanshawe has beaten Mohawk already.
And we see Dennis Brereton having a laugh at halftime here. Let's see why.
And we see that dunk there with the pass from...
Huge play by Dennis Brereton. Off the nice pass from Alex Reese. And after one half, Mountaineers 48, the Falcons 24. And the second half is underway. The Mountaineers starting out with that zone defense just as they began the first period. Falcons able to connect on a corner three-point shot. Ivoroni finds Cicatini. Off the mark there, and the Falcons come up with the rebound. Three-point shot is good. Back-to-back threes for the Falcons to start this third quarter.
And that should get their offense surging, cutting the lead to 18 points now.
And here's Matt Fennell getting blocked going to the rim. The Falcons really coming out with some focus in the second half. Off the mark, rebounded by Dow Hannock. Dow Hannock kicks it ahead to Ivoroni. Tipped out of bounds by Brian McDonald. Alex Reese getting set to check the ball in. Finds Cicatini down low, mismatch. He gets hacked hard down to the floor. Bodies flying.
That was McDonald that took Cicatini down, and he is not happy.
Cicatini gets right back up.
And we can see that arm right around Cicatini.
And McDonald really jumping over the back and hooking him with an elbow. I don't know what he has to be upset with there. He just went flying and took a spill and got the worst of it.
Andrew Cicatini is not someone I would want to anger on the court.
I wouldn't want to start wrestling with him either.
He drains one.
And Cicatini is #1 in the OCAA in rebounds. Coming into the game, he had 225 rebounds in 17 games on the season. That was good enough for 13.2 per game.
And you can add another 5 rebounds from the first half of this game, Kyler.
Really just dominating on defensive and offensive rebounds all season long.
Yeah, Hannock got a piece of that, but Fanshawe is starting to chip away at this lead.
The lead, once 24, is now down to 18. Cicatini finds Fennell, who gets fouled. He'll shoot some free throws. And Fennell, really a solid first half for him.
That's right, 13 points in the first half, and you can see why he is one of the leading scorers in the OCAA on a regular basis.
First one is up and good. Good rotation. Let's take one more look at that last play by McDonald on Ciccatini. We've got another angle there. Kind of clotheslines him. Kind of a dangerous play by McDonald. Fennell gets set to shoot his second free throw.
And you can add another 2 points to that tally with a solid 20-point lead for the Mountaineers now over Fanshawe.
Falcons pushing the pace.
Right, and that's really the only way to beat that zone defense is to just drive in with speed and not give anyone a chance to set up.
And we saw Chris Stanhope, who just scored there, go coast to coast earlier on a play. And Ivoroni.
And Pat Ivoroni with 9 points and 4 assists in the first half.
Here's McDonald from the corner working against Ciccatini. No love lost between these two players. McDonald passes it out, not wanting to challenge the bigger Ciccatini. Shot clock winding down now for the Falcons, and we have a traveling.
And that was very fortuitous for the Mountaineers to get that traveling call. And we talked about how to beat that zone defense is just to get in there before they can even set up and drive the net. It's really the only way you can get any good penetration in the offensive zone against, you know, a lot of size with its own defense.
We have an errant pass out of bounds off the Falcons.
Alex Rose coming back off for Fanshawe.
Here's Dowhanick. He's got the ball, trying to find Ciccatini, being grabbed by all angles. No foul called there, but he somehow still gets it up and in.
Incredible, even with McDonald knocking at the door again.
Ivoroni almost causes a turnover there, and he finally does, but Matt Fennell has it stolen right back from him. Just really a lucky break for the Falcons, and Miller Bennett's able to capitalize with the floater.
Really smart floater, and that's really the only way that you're able to beat Dowhanick. You know, he's got that reach. You got to take your time with it, get some air on the ball, and just lay it in like that.
Fennell, good position down low. Stanhope just too late on the block attempt.
That's right. You know, it was like Fennell pulled a trigger on that shot. As soon as he had the ball in his hands, he made the play.
Dowhanick with the hand in the face of McDonald. Reese has it. Fennell doesn't pull up for the three as he normally does. He drives to the basket instead. Here's Chisholm passing it to McDonald.
And McDonald's really establishing a presence here in the second half, in the first couple minutes of this quarter. And he's actually heading off now. We see Ojo and Flanzer heading in for Fanshawe. But Ojo was really surging in the second quarter.
We see Ciccatini here as he's been battling all game long and fights for this loose ball. Gets his team another possession. And it seems like the ball might have been tipped by the Falcons, but the referee says no, and he calls a backcourt violation on Ivoroni.
I think it was a tip as well,
Kyler. And Ivoroni says, I'll throw it right back.
And that's how you answer back.
Well, you know, Greg, ball don't lie.
No, it doesn't, Kyler.
Ivoroni got that right back and scored 2 points. Didn't think that the turnover should have been called against him. Making the best of the situation, and now.
And you see Ojo again, and we see another floater scored on Dowhanick.
Here was Ivoroni, who was getting into a dispute with the referee, but decided to just refocus his energy onto the court and came up with the steal.
And that's how you do it, Kyler. We can see a broken play here. The Mountaineers out of position.
Here's Ciccatini. not able to jam the ball, but gets the layup. You know, when you're 6'7", I think you should almost dunk it every time you're that close. I think we come to demand too much from these players sometimes.
I think there's a little humility involved in not dunking every single shot you have under the net, Kyler.
There's also an intimidation factor.
That's very true, and Xenis Brereton slam off of that inbound pass from Alex Reese.
That was really a spectacular play from the first half.
That really made a statement and set the tone for the Mountaineers going into the half.
And the Mountaineers have now built on their lead by 2 points. It's up to 26 now. Sicatini finds Ivoroni. Ivoroni step back. And we've got a 3-second call. Matt Fennell was just waiting down there for the rebound, and the shot never came.
Pat Ivoroni actually thought the call was on him. See Sicatini digging deep there.
Here's Stanhope, who's had some nice drives, be able to beat Dowhannick on that play once again.
Another floater on Dowhannick.
Here's Fennell. Hasn't had to do too much in this game, but he's been pretty efficient. As I say that, he commits the offensive turnover. You know, you can kind of smile that one off when you're up by 24 points.
That's true, especially when you lay someone out. So we have Brereton and Delhi heading back in for Ivoroni and Fennell.
You know, Greg, if you're going to commit a turnover, you might as well do some damage in the process.
That is a great strategy.
The Falcons with the ball now. Stanhope working against Delhi. And Stanhope's really been the key component to the Falcons' offense in the second half.
That's right.
Wide open in the corner, just a lapse on defense. Unfortunately, the Mountaineers get away with the missed shot. Jeff Hunt hits the floor.
I definitely would not call that a foul.
He kind of just got, it wasn't really a foul.
It was a little bit, yeah. Jeff Hunt slipped as he came down, I believe. We're going to take a look at it here. We can see Jeff Hunt getting
going
a
up
rebound.
with it. That's just two players jumping up, and
yeah,
that should be a no call.
And Jeff Hunt lost his footing, and I wonder if that would have been a call if he had landed
against
it.
They just kind of bumped into each other both equally, and the much bulkier Ojo came out on top as he was still standing, but unfortunately, when one man's on the ground, you might get called for a foul.
And Xenis Brereton will head to the free throw line.
Fanshawe over the foul limit in the quarter. Brereton will shoot free throws off the mark on the first.
And we can see Jeff Hunt and Delhi setting up in the backcourt.
And we've seen Brereton's minutes cut over the last course of the season here. Began the season in the starting rotation, and now he's coming off the bench. This could be a time for him to kind of reestablish his presence on this squad.
And it's not so much a lack of his game, it's just that everyone else on the team is improving. The depth of the bench is growing.
And we see Dowhannick and Hunt, the length down low. Dowhannick knocks it out of bounds. He had 5 blocks in the first half.
He just wreaks havoc defensively on any team coming into the zone. And we were just talking about Xenis Brereton and his time getting cut down, and we saw with that slam closer to the end of the first half that he is still a real factor on this team.
Really displaying some of that athleticism that he has. They're going to need him going forward in the playoffs. I've asked some of the other players who they think is the most athletic on the team, and everyone has said X. They all think that he's the best athlete on the floor.
And that is his game, is that his athleticism just outworks everyone.
they're going to need him to be focused going forward in the playoffs if they're going to want to win and advance. Right now, Mohawk maintaining a 25-point lead. You see how tough it is to handle the ball against the zone defense of the Mountaineers. Works the ball up court. Both teams not really full court pressing too much in the second half. Perhaps a little fatigue on both sides. Jeff Hunt swings it to Deli, fumbles the ball, but comes up with it anyway. No look pass to Cicatini, who hits the fadeaway.
We talked about keeping Deli out there and, you know, how he has to acclimate to playing that game, and we're starting to see a slight improvement even as this game goes on.
And we see Cicatini with a nice mid-range jumper, step back, another block for Dowhannick.
And Dowhannick didn't even leave his feet.
Nice pass by Deli to Xenis Brereton.
We just talked about the athleticism of Xenis Brereton, and we see it on display right there with Alex Reese and Matt Fennell getting ready to head back into this game.
It's really been all Mountaineers, as this is their largest lead of the game.
And I don't even think the Mountaineers themselves were expecting a lead like this, given how the outcome of the last meeting went with Fanshawe when.
And let's take a look at this nice pass by Deli to Cicatini, who hits the fadeaway.
And Deli with a great recovery.
And Xenis Brereton just recovered his own rebound at the free throw line and came up with a three-point shot. Nice crossover, fumbled the ball. Here's Stanhope. Stanhope driving to the bucket.
And you can see them trying to get into this zone, and that they're starting to carry the ball in to see a little more success against the zone defense. And Stanhope was able to draw a foul as he heads to the free throw line. See Stanhope as he draws the foul there against Jeff Hunt.
Creating the contact against Hunt, earned 2 free throws.
It's a smart play. Now it's a 29-point deficit for Fanshawe.
Fennell finally picks up the ball. Tipped out of bounds. Mountaineers will maintain possession. Xenis Brereton getting to the basket again, just easily lays it up and in.
We were just talking about Xenis Brereton, how his time's been cut. We can see him being a factor.
Comes up with a steal there. Xenis Brereton picks the pocket, gets it ahead to Deli, who's fouled.
I thought that was a fairly clean block by Miller Bennett. Didn't see the good angle on it.
How about the steal by Xenis Brereton on the other end?
Yeah. End to end, he is a factor.
He's laughing, smiling, have a good time with Alex Reese right now.
We can see the steal right here
Brereton
as he passes it up.
Steal and pass. And it's all smiles for the Mountaineers right now, as they're up by 32. This team is really peaking at the right time, Greg. They've won 6 games in a row. This will be their 7th if they can pick up another win tonight to end the regular season.
And you know, Kyler, it's twofold to come up against a team that really shut down your best scorer, to come back like this at home, going into the playoffs. and having it like this.
That was almost an aberration, that game, for Matt Fennell to only score 10 points, as he's been averaging 26 for the rest of the season.
We see Elvis Owasu missing that free throw as he goes for his second.
Falcons now come up with the turnover. Miller Bennett heading the other way. Floats that shot up and in, and he'll earn a chip to the free throw line.
And we see Neil Santos on the court right now as Jonker is rotating in.
Here's a nice drive and score by Miller Bennett. Completes the three-point play.
And we see Santos here right now as Jonker's starting to rotate in some of his younger players.
Hey, Elvin. Ask Tyler to look up on his computer the score of that Humber Sheridan game so we can post it up.
Mountaineers with another inside basket.
Have them talk about the relevance of it, and we want
McDonald, the outside three. Final 20 seconds of the third quarter here.
Yeah, you can just put up the logo and make it possible. You can't put it in quick.
We see this zone defense spread right out.
And Reese comes up with a steal. Xenis, final seconds of the quarter, tries to throw up a huge dunk, but we have a foul called. And it looks like we'll have 2 free throws for Xenis Brereton to end the third quarter. And it looks as though the Mountaineers will probably come away with a victory in this, their final regular season game. And if they are able to do so, they will improve to 15-3 on the season.
That's right, we see Brereton just taking these last few shots as the timer is done, and he's very happy with that.
Also going on in the OCAA right now, the Humber Hawks are playing the Sheridan Bruins, and that's important for the Mountaineers because that's the 2 teams that the Mountaineers are looking up at in the standings. The Sheridan Bruins are 14-2 on the season, 15-2, excuse me. The Sheridan Bruins are ranked number 3 in the country, and the Humber Hawks are ranked number 7th in the country, just ahead of the Mountaineers, who are 8th ranked in college basketball. And right now it is a 49-48 lead for Humber over Sheridan.
That's right, and these are very important games for seeding and where the Mountaineers are going to finish off on the season. And I think it's fair to assume that the Mountaineers may win this game, Kyler. Going into the fourth quarter, 78-49 is a huge lead.
Well, that's right, Greg. I'm going to call it right now. I'm going to say it's a lock that the Mountaineers will win. Now, if they come back and lose this 30-point lead, then, you know, feel free to run me out of town. But right now, the Mohawk Mountaineers are looking to pick up their 16th win of the season. No, 15th win of the season, sorry. They would be 15-3. And if Humber were to win at Sheridan today, then there would be a 3-way tie for first place at 15-3.
That's right, and of course the tiebreaker in the OCAA is points for.
And in that case, the Sheridan Bruins have scored about 70 points more than the Mountaineers on the season. So the Bruins would maintain their first place in the OCAA West Division unless the Mountaineers were able to outscore them tonight by more than 70 points.
You never know, Kyler.
Which might be tough as they already have 44 points at halftime and the Mountaineers are at 78 3 quarters through. Maybe, who knows, if they score 100 points in this quarter, they could end up with first place in the OCAA West.
Anything could happen.
I don't think so, but the most likely scenario seems to be that the Mountaineers will win this game, finish the season at 15-3, in which place they'll be second in the OCAA West. Even if the Sheridan Bruins lose and the Humber Hawks improve to 15-3, the Mountaineers would have the tiebreaker over the Humber Hawks.
That's right.
It's all very complicated.
It's very, very complicated. But I'm sure that Brian Jonker and the rest of the Mountaineers are very happy with what they've been able to do this season.
And in fact, a couple of the biggest wins that the Mountaineers have had this season has been defeating rivals, as we see a nice dunk by Stanhope there. They've defeated their rivals, the Sheridan Bruins, twice this season, handing the top-ranked Bruins their only 2 losses of the season, including a win on the road against Sheridan back on February 7th.
And that was just recently, and if I am the Sheridan Bruins right now and I see the Mountaineers and the current score of this game, I'm scared.
You're going to be scared to play them. And they would not face against each other until potentially the finals and the playoffs if they were to finish 1 and 2 in the regular season. And of course, last season, the Sheridan Bruins defeated the Mountaineers in the OCAA finals, handing them a second place finish. So those teams know each other well, and they're looking forward to potentially playing each other in the playoffs.
Very big rivalry and 2 great teams.
And Humber, who is the other team who's in the mix for the top record in the OCAA West, they've really come on strong as of late. They have 9 wins in a row.
That's right, a lot of surging teams going in. You never want to go into the playoffs on a loss. And we talked about this before, great teams finish strong. That is their hallmark.
And this Mountaineers team really seems to be peaking at the right time. They had that huge win against the Bruins that we just talked about, and this would be their 7th victory in a row if they're able to hold on and beat the Falcons. Here's Chisholm open from 3, rebounded by Fennell. X is all alone, just need to get him the ball. Nice layup up and in for the man they call X.
I really wish I had an X in my name.
Professor X, Weapon X, DMX.
I would just bark at everyone.
Nice pass by Santos there, able to elude the pressure. And here's Cicatini getting hacked once again. He got fouled, I think, 3 times on that play.
Cicatini's really had a great night, but he's also had a rough night, which is something that
which is
used to.
Also not uncommon for Cicatini.
He's really a very passive player on the court, not very vocal. He does most of his talking through
Very
the way
soft-spoken,
that he plays.
but very tough guy. Cicatini banging bodies down low.
You see it from another angle there, and you can see why he's so dangerous offensively.
Takes a licking and keeps on ticking. As we see the 3-pointer made by the Falcons.
We also see Philip Pajek out there. Another first year that Brian Jonker is rotating in. And we talk about the youngsters on this team and the future of the program moving forward.
We can see that they're all smiles over on the bench right now.
And Brereton goes airborne.
Skies for the rebound, and the same motion, passes it over to Dalhanic. I don't know if Dalhanic was even ready for that.
I think his knees touched the rim. Dalhanic definitely was not ready for that pass.
Here's Taylor Dalhanic, who's credited for 5 block shots in the first half. I don't know how many he's had here in the second.
I would probably
but it's been
say
a handful at least. And he really had a commanding lead on the blocks title coming into this game. Through 17 games, Taylor Dalhanic had 68 blocks, and the second place guy in blocks was Sheridan's Paul Williams with only 38.
That is a huge deficit, and that's not just size, Kyler. That's athleticism, that's basketball intellect, it's reading plays, it's knowing exactly what your role is.
So Dalhanic's 68 blocks through 17 games is good for 4 per game. He's had more than almost 8 blocks tonight, improving his average. Page takes a shot there, and ball goes off his face and out of bounds. And really just staying focused, working on some different defensive schemes. What did we say? There's another block from Dalhanic. He's got to be approaching double figures.
I think he's well within that realm now with the blocks. And almost with another one there. As Dexton Fremantle headed in there.
And the pace of this game is really looking like a pickup game now, as the offenses on both sides are just bringing the ball up the court and shooting it, not really getting into their offensive sets.
And another thing is, if you look at Dalhanic's blocks, he hardly ever leaves his feet, Kyler.
He doesn't need to, Greg, at 6'9" with those long arms.
And Cicatini
frustrating opponents.
Very. I mean,
see Ojo slamming the ball into the ground.
And you can see that he is the
here's Dalhanic with a huge block. He just doesn't even look surprised anymore when he blocks them, just kind of scowls at the defender.
It's not a big thing anymore.
Mountaineers working on some different things on defense here. Sending 3 guys to trap as soon as the ball crosses half court.
That's right, and this is the time to try things. And believe it or not, Fanshawe is a fairly good team, and this is a good team to get your youngsters out on.
Fanshawe comes into this game with an 11-6 record, very respectable. They've already beaten the Mountaineers this season, as we've talked about, so they can't be taken lightly by any means.
That's right, and I think the Mountaineers, I think the bad taste of that loss is still in their mouth, and that's why they came out so hard right off the bat in the first quarter against the Falcons tonight.
We see Ivoroni back in the game, causing the turnover on Thompson there. We see Ivoroni always excels when that pressure is applied to him, and he just gets by his defender for an open jumper. It's that easy. Mohawk falls back into their zone defense now. Cicatini battling for the ball.
Still upset.
Telling the referee that the defender was all over his back.
That went off of Jeff Hunt inadvertently, and a long pass. Cicatini wasn't able to catch up with it.
Just beyond his outstretched arms there.
And we see Andrew Cicatini heading off for Ian Asing.
Jonker just cycling his starters out of the game now. Under 5 minutes to go. We've got Alex Reese and Patrick Ivoroni, the starters out there with 3. younger players.
And Ernest Talit was calling that play and wasn't ready for that pass from the outside. As we see
Ojo down low. He's a good player. It's a little bit easier against the second unit when Dowhanik's out of the game, but nice moves by Ojo.
Ojo has been a fierce competitor this entire game and has been one of the standout players for Fanshawe.
And we've got a foul on Acing. Non-shooting. Falcons will inbound the ball. Here's Fremantle. Fremantle drives, but nearly has his pocket picked and does. And here's Acing all alone off to the races. He misses on the layup, just a little nervous excitement there.
It's natural for the youngsters to feel that way. Just gotta pace yourself and
we see the rough play down low. There's a foul on the Mountaineers. Stephen Deli now working the offense.
Alex Reese is going to take this one for the Mountaineers.
Acing works baseline. Shot hits the side of the backboard, rebounded by Reese.
Those soft hands.
Big man just makes it look so easy.
Right in the bottom of the net.
Here's a nice bank shot by Fremantle. Deli now doing a good job of handling the pressure. Reese now the sole veteran out there on the floor, providing some guidance to the youngsters. Pass picked off. Here's Page playing defense now. And we see some
miscommunication between Page and Deli.
Some unforced turnovers. And, you know, you want the youngsters to get those out of the way in a game that's already in hand.
Well, you know, I think you need to, get those butterflies out by making plays like that. Really, just like saying to yourself, there's no pressure right now. All I have to do is my job.
And Santos comes right back and gets a steal. Here's Reese, just making it look easy. Finds Page in the corner. Acing rather.
And Santos is one of those younger players that really looked very shaky earlier on in the season, and now whenever he's in, he's got his head completely between his shoulders and he's ready to play the game. And you can tell which ones of these youngsters have acclimated more than the others.
And Santos picked up a foul on that possession, but really a foul of aggression, so no problem there, trying to steal the ball. Falcons will inbound the ball in the backcourt. Three-pointer good from the corner.
Great shot by Ryan Flanzer there. Youngsters working together, making up for that miscommunication from the point earlier on.
A little showtime on that no-look assist. Three hits back rim. Under 2 minutes to go now. Mohawk at 93, Fanshawe 69.
You can see the youngsters getting more comfortable with the plays, and Santos with an amazing
off-balance
play.
jumper.
And Elvis Owasu will head to the free throw line after he gets sandwiched between Page and Deli. We see Alex Reese heading off.
Getting a good ovation from this crowd, recognizing his last regular season game here as a Mountaineer.
That's right.
The Mountaineers just above their season average of 91 points per game, sitting at 95 right now. Fanshawe comes up with the rebound. Off the mark, another rebound now by Fanshawe against this Mohawk second unit.
A lot of rebounds, but still not a lot of scoring happening going on. You can see that the zone defense, even without its key players.
Triple home, no good. Ball's knocked out of bounds by Stanhope. The Mountaineers have it with under a minute to go. Up by 26.
And Deli gets his pocket picked.
Those are the type of errors that Brian Jonker's not going to want to see in the playoffs.
And Deli was trying to be fancy, dribble it behind his back, and Owasu read the play.
Nice drive by Stanhope. We've seen a number of nice drives by him.
That's right. He's been one of the few players that can really penetrate that zone defense of the Mountaineers.
We have the credits actually too. So you can bring the credits up while it's on. You can roll the
Here's
credits
acing
while
from
it's
the baseline.
on, the wide shot.
Deli just taps it up with one hand,
Black out.
keeps it alive for Hunt, who eventually
Two
puts it in.
rebounds for Hunt, back to back.
Well, no, when the game first ends, me and Ty can get some shots of them shaking hands, and then roll your highlight package and have the
Final 10 seconds here of the regular season, and the Mountaineers will finish 15-3 on the regular season.
And as the credits roll, you can turn the music up.
And it's an undefeated season here at home for the Mountaineers as they finish the season 9-0 at the David Braley Athletic and Recreation Center.
That's right, and a great effort by the Mountaineers this year, and they're very happy going into playoffs. Now, we're not sure where exactly that will put them going into the playoffs for the seeding. We know that right now, at the end of the third, Sheridan is up 65-60 on Humber, so we know that score is fluctuating back and forth, and that is two teams vying for a top seed. And we see these Mountaineers all smiles heading off the court now.
Could likely be a second place finish in the OCAA West. And the Mountaineers are peaking right at the right time. Let's take a look at some of the key plays from this game.
We talked about the athleticism of Dennis Frierson, and we see it right there. Here it is from another angle.
Sicatini battling down low as he has all season long. Led the OCAA in rebounds this season. And there's Taylor Dalhanic. He could be in line for some more hardware after this season, leading the league in blocks once again.
That's right. We talked about the blocking this game. You know, he's only credited for 5 in the first half, and we saw at least that many, if not more, going into the second half, but he didn't even play the entirety of it.
Probably finished somewhere around 10 blocks. We'll wait to get the final stats in.
Well, you think about the key pieces that a team needs to build a championship run, and you ask yourself if the Mountaineers has some of these pieces, whether it's the athleticism, the blocking, the defense, the scoring ability, the presence down low, and these are all factors, all very real factors that makes the Mountaineers We see Jeff Hunt there, another integral part. And we got a great show at halftime from, I guess it would be Mohawk's first cheer and dance squad for basketball.
I guess the final game of the regular season, and it was time to break out the cheerleaders.
Well, maybe we'll be seeing more of them as time goes on throughout the playoffs and possibly next season.
Absolutely.
Wide shot.
And that's all from the David Braley Athletic and Recreation Center. I'm Kyler Sanderson.
And I'm Greg Rosser.
And we'll see you in the playoffs.
All right, and start rolling the credits and bring the music up. Roll the credits.